Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Path to 1 Million. My name is Cliff, and this is episode 92. And for those that are joining the broadcast today, just do me a quick little favor. If you would, just hit that like button on the screen and let me know that that you can hear me okay. So, my contractor abandoned me. Yeah, that was kind of an interesting experience. So here's kind of like the situation. Thank you for the like. So here's the situation. I'm having some work done on my house. And the contractor that I'm working with recommended that I use this particular electrician. Thanks, Matt, for the like. He recommended I use this particular electrician, and we've been trying to schedule some other work to be done, everything else. Anyways, finally, yesterday, the electrician made it over to the house. So when he called me up on the phone, of course, I wasn't anywhere near the house at that time because he showed up about an hour early, which is fine. It's rare contractors show up early. But he showed up there early, and I made it over to the house, and he had a copy of the specification that I gave him that clearly bulleted out, I need this item fixed, this item fixed, this item fixed, everything. And the one thing that happened when I renovated my house back in the day, and granted, I don't know all the housing codes, you kind of like learn as you go, but that's why you hire professionals, is the contractor I was dealing with at that time installed a ceiling fan and a light right above the shower. Not only in my front unit, but in my rental unit as well. So when I had an inspector come through the house and he was looking at everything, he said, this is a code violation. You have electricity above a water source and you do not have any kind of a GFCI cutoff. So if water ever hits it or something and people get electrocuted, I've never heard of anybody getting electrocuted in a shower before. But anyways, the inspector guy said, yep, this is going to be something. So you just have to install a GFCI probably at the switch and get it installed there, and that will completely take care of the problem. So I was like, cool. In my mind, this was pretty much an easy fix. It is remedial. I put together a complete written specification, and I sent it over to a contractor that I've worked with before in the past, and I have said, here is the specification. We went over it point by point by point. And of course, when we got to this particular item there, he said, yeah, he says, I get what they're trying to do. They need to install a GFCI cutoff at the switch so you don't die. I get it. He goes, the electrician will have no problem doing this for you. Just give the electrician a call. And I said, okay. The electrician is there yesterday and he's looking at the spec and he says, I have no idea what this means. Well, I'm not an electrician either. I'm not a general contractor either. So my response to that is, well, just call the general contractor. He's the one that recommended you. He's the one that seemed to think that this was not an issue, not a problem. So, to give him a call. And now keep in mind that it's a Saturday. And I don't expect people to work on Saturday, but most people carry their phones. Most people have text messaging capability. And this general contractor has proven a couple times now that he is capable of responding to text messages on the weekend, especially when it is his guy at the house that's doing the work. We go through the text messaging. He tries to call him. There's no answer. And I send the contractor. I'm like, hey, he's got a question about that GFCI thing at the switch. If you could just talk to him or anything else. So we don't hear back from the contractor at all. It's complete radio silence during this time. The electrician approaches me and says, look, I got everything done, just not this one thing. I've called a couple other people. They might know what to do. It might help maybe if you even talk to your inspector, but I just haven't heard back. So how about if I come back tomorrow at about 9 o'clock and I will know by then what it is I need to do and I can execute it. And I said, okay, that's fine. I said, what are you thinking right now? And he says, well, I'm thinking that I'm going to have to just put the lights on its own separate circuit and put the GFCI and the circuit breaker. Of course, all I hear in my head is cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not as easy as everybody told me that this was going to be. So I'm missing something somewhere, right? So I told him, I said, we'll try to get a hold of somebody. We'll talk about it. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Probably about a half an hour later, my phone starts ringing. And of course, I can't find it in the house because it's underneath a piece of paper somewhere. By the time I pick it up, it's the contractor. He's actually calling me, which is rare that he would do it on Saturday. But I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I can get an answer to my question. I pick up the phone. Of course, by then I missed it. So I sent him a text message back. I said, hey, I'm here if you want to give me a call. And he sent me a text message. And basically the gist of his message was along the lines of, I don't know what you guys are doing. I'm not there. I can't see what's happening. I can't give you any advice. I don't know why you're contacting me. That right there completely shell-shocked me because he knows exactly what I was talking about. We reviewed the spec. I told him what was going on. I told him what was happening. He knew what the problem was. He was the one that said, yep, the electrician guy can fix it. This is how he can fix it, because I don't understand all the nerds, the terminology, don't understand the words. I can't take copious notes while he's talking so dang fast, but I figured that he could take at least a minute and talk to this guy on the phone and say, this is how you fix it. But instead, he completely folds. We hit this little slice of adversity, and for some reason or another, the contractor just completely abdicates all of his responsibility to what it is that we're doing. And as soon as I read that text message, I thought to myself, you know what? Obviously, this guy's priorities are not with you, Cliff. And the second thing is that you really can't rely on him to solve the problems that you have. You know, even though that is why he is part of the picture, is to solve these particular problems, he doesn't want to solve them. A little bit of adversity and he folds. And I'm reading again, and I know I've talked about this before, I'm reading David Goggins' book called Can't Hurt Me, and he's going through SEALs training. And he's always talking about how he always picks the most difficult challenges. He always embraces the pain because he knows that builds mind calluses. The more you experience, the more trials, tribulations, the more problems that you encounter, the tougher your mind becomes. So that way, when the real tough problems come, you can handle them better. And I'll admit, in my life, I have gone through a lot. I really have. And I know that when I got into, especially like into the real estate game, I didn't go out and buy a condo. I didn't go out and buy a house. I bought a duplex. And not only did I buy a duplex, but I bought the crappiest, most neglected duplex on the street. And that was my baptism by fire. So when it comes to fixing these kind of problems, I don't panic. I don't get all bent out of shape about it because I know that there's a solution to the problem at hand. There's an answer to every question. There's a way out of every box, every single time without fail. And if somebody doesn't know, then just call somebody else and just keep going from there. But again, with facing that little slice of adversity, he just completely folded. And it really surprised me. So the last ditch effort that I had was, because this was actually found by a housing inspector when he came through my house, was the housing inspector made the fix sound easy, so let's contact him. Now keep in mind, it has been probably 6 weeks since that inspector has been at my house. He's got no skin in the game. He doesn't benefit from this whatsoever. But I reached out to him anyways, and I said, look, the electrician has some questions about how to handle this and how to take care of this and how to do this. Do you know what I'm talking about, and can you help him? And he goes, yep, I'll give him a call right now. As far as I'm concerned, the inspector did the general contractor's job. The general contractor recommends the electrician. The general contractor knows exactly what needs to be done, but it refuses to do anything about it. The inspector, on the other hand, who gains nothing, doesn't know this electrician at all. The inspector guy could have said, well, if your electrician was worth his weight in salt, he would know what to do. But he didn't. He called the guy up and said, this is what you need to do. And the electrician guy goes, oh, that's easy enough. So the electrician called me up and he goes, I know exactly what I got to do. It'll be no problem. I'll be there tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We'll get this thing wrapped up super quick. Awesome. Problem solved. 2 different approaches to the exact same problem. The only difference is that I know that one person will help me out if I've got any future questions that come down the pipe, versus the other guy who just doesn't seem to be interested. Why would I even bother to waste my time? And it's a real shame because I have worked with this contractor before. Every now and then he does it, but this time it is different because I'm very personally involved with what's going on. And I don't like it when people sit there and say they understand the problem and I recommend these people to get involved, and they do it, and then they completely advocate any kind of responsibility for it. It's not like I asked the contractor to do the work. I just said, hey, could you just explain to the electrician what needs to be done? Nope, didn't do that. Sorry, Cliff, don't know what you're doing, don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who you are. Leave me alone. Don't ever contact me again. Of course, I exaggerated right there, but that's the feeling that I got from his text message when it came through. Yeah. And it's like this with, like for instance, with one of the clients that I'm working with on the LinkedIn project. It was the exact same thing. They were worried that when they got in there and started implementing, that I was simply going to leave them behind. And I said, oh no, because part of your package deal is that I actually work with you to find a methodology that works with you. I'm not going to advocate responsibility. You know, so as part of that overall package, that's what we did. We continue to work, we continue to refine. We actually did our like 3rd round of A/B testing this last week to see if the messages that we were doing actually worked out, and it worked out in their favor. So It's all a matter of just making sure that, if you start something, that you're able to finish it. If you're going to take responsibility for it, then take responsibility for it. Do not advocate it. That's just irritating as all get out. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's a story that I have for today on this Sunday morning. I hope you guys are having a phenomenal weekend, and I will be back again tomorrow with another story. I will see you then. Have a good day.